Jolly good morning to you from a quite noisy, busy main road just out near the central or main railway station here, Bratislava, Slovakia. And today I'm going to do a walking tour around this picturesque and interesting city. I'm going to be using the help of one of my go-to bloggers on the internet with a walking route. I'm just going to follow that, which should take me to all the most interesting places. First of all, I'm just walking back from my accommodation towards the central station, and where you can pick up a tram number 1 to be precise. I've got a 24-hour ticket, so I can ride about as much as I like on the trams and buses and trolley buses, which is always a good fun, especially if you're armed with sufficient information. But anyway, I can head down into the the centre of this quite small capital city, eminently walkable once you get down there, and follow the route. Our first starting point is going to be the UFO Bridge. That's the name for it in English, at least. Most something else in Slovakian, which I cannot just remember off the top of my head. But tram stops are just here. Just jump on the first one. They come about every 5 minutes. As I say, number 1 into town. Job done. See you in a minute. Probably one thing worth mentioning is if you are going to use the public transport here, download the app. It's in English, gives you a list of ticket options, timed tickets or day passes, etc. You activate them or validate them on the app, and once you've done that, then the clock starts ticking, so to speak, for its validity. Don't forget to do that. If you buy a paper ticket from a machine, then you will need to validate it on your first journey if it's a multi-journey ticket or a single journey as you get on in the validators on the trams and buses. Failure to do that will keep the ticket invalid and you will be subject to a fine. And I've done now three tram journeys since I bought my ticket yesterday evening, and on 2 of the 3 a ticket inspector has come along to check it. So don't think they won't check, they definitely do. And they're plain clothed as well, so just bear that one in mind. But you can buy from machines, but if you've got things like Apple Pay or PayPal, then it's by far the easiest way is to buy it on the app. You have an e-ticket and all's good. You don't need to do anything else once you've validated it on the app. Right, let's head down to the UFO Bridge. If you are staying in the very centre of Bratislava just for a couple of days and not really intending to wander too far, then you very probably won't need public transport. It's fantastically walkable place, but if you do a bit of googling just to find out some of the stuff that's a little bit away from the centre, of which there are a few interesting attractions, you may well need to get tickets for that. I've got one that I might tag on to the end of this today, if I can remember the name of it, but I shall be having a little look once I've completed this walk. I'm expecting it to take about 2 to 3 hours. I'll stop for a spot of lunch and then see where to go. And of course, as is always and traditional on any of my videos, there'll be somebody with drills, lawnmowers or whatever being very noisy as soon as I start speaking. Of course, here is no exception. Yeah, to reroute myself, or reroute if you like, a little bit. The Google Maps was sending me down a dual carriageway, and I'm not very keen on walking on the side of dual carriageways. However, there is a sort of a little side roads version that I'm taking now. The sign there for the castle, Rad, just up there, which will be on the itinerary later on as we wind our way around this city. I also looked at the, well, I didn't look at the possibility because I haven't got time for that, but I did investigate how easy it would be to go to Vienna from here. It's very close if you take the train. There's also boats that run up and down the Danube. Obviously they take quite a bit longer, and by the looks of it, majority of them were what you might call pleasure cruises, so they're not public services as such, so we're a little on the expensive side, you know, the sort that include lunch and that kind of thing, but quite a nice way to spend a day, I should think, sailing one way on the Danube between Bratislava and Vienna, maybe getting the train back the other way. I can see the UFO bridge just ahead of me. I'm not quite sure if it's pedestrianised to walk across it. I can see a couple just walking on the dual carriageway down there, where Google Maps was sending me, so they're braver than me. But I'm just keeping my eye to see where they're heading, because they may well be heading onto the UFO bridge, but it doesn't look like a particularly user-friendly for pedestrians bridge, so can't see any footpath as such across it, so I might have to slightly curtail that, although there must be a way to get to it, because there's I believe that's a viewing platform and restaurants and so on up towards the top there, so you can just see it coming into view now. On the other hand, I can't see too many people walking across, so I'm just quite intrigued by this at the moment. Presumably you get to it by some other method than just walking across this bridge, because I'm pretty sure I would see other people doing that at the moment. Intention to actually go up to the top of the viewing platform or restaurant, whatever's up there. I think I'll call this now the starting point. I have indeed actually found the walking route, however, to go a slightly convoluted way to get here, and I'm not so sure walking down that dual carriageway was a great idea, but this is why I couldn't see any people walking across, because it's underneath the road. So I'm going to walk to the centre, see what's happening there, and see just how flooded the Danube is. There's been some very, very, very heavy rain here in the centre of Europe recently. Number 4 tram there. I'm sure I could have perhaps got a tram a little bit closer, but anyway, there's one of the cruise boats. Seems to be people getting on and off. Not sure if that's one that's just for day trippers or has looks like it's got bedrooms in it, cabins, and the flow of the water is quite high here. Not well high, quite strong. Not sure how fast it normally flows. I believe it is a reasonably fast flowing river, a bit like the River Rhine, and when you get boats such as the one there going into the flow, they don't make too much progress. And then when you see one going back the other way, how quickly they're going with the flow of the river. So there we go, that's the River Danube, one of the world's most famous rivers. Right, here we are in the middle. Not entirely sure how you get up to the restaurant. Looks like there's a stanchion just over there, which presumably has got some kind of steps on them, or lift to take you up to the top. But now the routing that I've been given to have a walk around is sending me back from whence I came to, and I cannot even pronounce this, Slovo Square, something like that. Virtually impossible to pronounce with the English tongue. But we're heading there anyway, which is probably the square I just walked past actually, on my way over to here, because it's just 0.2 of a kilometre away. There's a few slightly posher hotels just along this section, not the sort that I would be staying in. Parking by Radisson's are usually fairly good. Hotel Devin, I think that is over there. Bound to be a Hilton around somewhere, and one or two others from big chains such as Radisson, Hilton, etc. Did notice an Ibis hotel, which are more on your budget range. So yeah, as interesting as it looks with its UFO on the top of it, hence the name, it's probably not one of the world's most inspiring bridges really, but interesting enough and a reasonable place to start off a walk, I'm guessing. I do find these quite interesting actually, the sort of street history lessons you can give yourself as you walk along, and can be quite time consuming if you stop to read them all, but always worthy of a little look, especially when it comes to ladies dressed in national costume and how things used to be. Joseph Murgash, I would say that's pronounced. Scientist, inventor, politician, priest, visual artist, pioneer of wireless telegraphy. His inventions are the basis of wireless transmissions of human speech and radio broadcasting. So why do we call it a transistor then? Why don't we call it a Murgash? Maybe they do in Slovakia, who knows, who knows. And for you that watching that are younger than about 50, you probably haven't even heard the term wireless, or if you do, it'd have been your parents or grandparents saying it, and you were wondering what on earth they were talking about. Just saying. This is nice little boulevard that we're walking down. Plenty of places to sit, a few places to grab a coffee and listen to the sound of the water, which is always quite soporific in some ways and calming. Supposed to be bright sunny day today, up to 25 Celsius. I'll say it's probably about 16 or 17 at the moment, and there's cloud cover, which is ideal for walking around. Autumn setting in, lots of leaves on the ground, and everyone preparing themselves for those sharp, cold European winters. And carrying on through this square that I can't pronounce, and out the other side got some more historical stuff here, or interesting posters and things to look at of what's going on around Bratislava and Slovakia in general. There's a few high-end shops around here, not to mention the Savoy Hotel. And this is the old Slovakian National Theatre, or opera, straight ahead. with a large group of walking tour. I bet they didn't walk across the UFO bridge. And if you want a bit of some cheap eats, there's a McDonald's. Don't forget to try langos if you're in this part of Europe. I think it's mostly a Hungarian thing, but you can definitely get them here. And once tried, never forgotten. Very, very tasty, but certainly not too kind to your waistline, I would say. I'll just go for the basic ones myself with the sour cream, garlic and cheese. You can get more elaborate ones, but I wouldn't say they were particularly traditional. Anyway, before I start getting hungry, there it is. Beautiful building. Stop's going to be the Palais de Bratislava Reduta, as it appears to be called. Not too far away from here. And according to Google at least, which has let me down recently with one or two duff pieces of information, it doesn't open until 1300 and it's now about 10. So I won't be going in there, but let's head there anyway and have a look. As you'll see, I'm barely 200 metres from where I was a couple of minutes ago and we're here already. Yeah, it is a compact little city full of beautiful architecture and buildings, and if you like that kind of thing, you will be in heaven here. And I have to say, compared with Prague, it is so much quieter, a lot fewer tourists, and a lot easier to get around without the hustle and bustle that can sometimes become a little bit, maybe frustrating would be the word, or tiring probably would be the better description of it. Off to Sarajevo Square, which is a whole 8 minutes away, which must be getting on to being almost a kilometre. So let's head, just walking back down towards the river here, going to take a left and follow a route sort of parallel to the river for a little while and find this square. If we went down to the riverfront there and looked right, we would see the UFO. For sure here in Bratislava, as I say, the central Old Town area is quite small and compact and fantastic for just wandering around. You soon get into very quiet leafy streets, residential areas such as this, and there's a few little hidden gems tucked away down here, and some interesting looking little restaurants, cafes, and seems to be where a lot of the apartments are as well that you can rent. I know things like Airbnb are the scourge of many cities, helping to increase prices for the locals and things like that, but if you can get hold of them, right in this area where I am now probably would be fantastic. I've seen one or two mentioned, and you will see them advertised on various well-known booking sites for accommodation. I quite often prefer the apartment approach. You can spread out a little bit more, a few more facilities, fridges and things like that, which you quite often don't have in hotel rooms, particularly the ones at the more budget end. So when I was looking at prices here, a bit off season at the moment, we're not in the peak season, but a very nice apartment that would definitely hold two comfortably, potentially three, for a little over 50 to 60 euros a night. So really not too bad at all. Hotels also are reasonably priced here in Bratislava, I've found, unless you go to the very high-end ones, of course, and that's your choice. Safarikovo Square. Not sure what my next direction is, but I'm just going to walk into the centre of here just to have a little look. Looks very nice with some fountains, places to sit, lots of flowers. Looks quite calm and tranquil, and right next door to a tram stop, which makes waiting for a tram. Not that you seem to have to wait very long for trams here. They seem to come every 5 minutes or so. Now we're off to the Blue Church. I did actually see that yesterday when I was having a quick scout around. Looks very impressive. According to Google, not open till 17:30. Whether that's true or not is open for debate, and we'll see when we get there. The square is quite large, with lots of nice buildings, and a slightly more open part to it over here. So I'll just take a stroll through on the route to the Blue Church. And here we are. And obviously you don't need any guesses as to why it's called the Blue Church. And I believe the clock's correct as well, 10:05. This is a very interesting walk. Also, of course, apart from the main attractions in the old town, taking you down some residential areas or such as this, to come across absolute gems like that. How you pronounce the next place, Kumil or Chumil. It's about a 5-minute walk away from here. So I'll head there, see what that's all about. What I will do, rather than just read out all the information provided, I will pop the link to this walk from a vlogger that I follow. Not a vlogger, a blogger, I should say. I'll pop the link in the notes if you want to have a look at it. There's some great detailed descriptions about some of the places we've come to see. Far too much for me to, one, try and remember, and two, read out on the video. Far better when you get here yourself to have a little read, follow it, and enjoy this fine city. Just walking close to the Centrum tram stops, which is where I originally came down to the town yesterday. There's quite a good Langosh place just over there near the tram stop, and an excellent place to, well, allegedly, I didn't actually go in, I was told an excellent place to get some beer at a reasonable price. And then you've got this kind of a shopping centre here, which has got a little Tesco's, a DM, which I think is a German sort of supermarket, and upstairs a food court. Now I did pop up and have a little look at the food court with a view to maybe popping in there later, and it doesn't look too bad at all. It looks a bit shabby from the outside, but once you get in, plenty of locals in there getting some food. It's a bit early yet for me, it's only 10:30, so I'll perhaps pop back there later before I jump on the tram. Well, this is a midweek day in September, but the weather's nice enough. It's so quiet, and it's an absolute pleasure for me to wander around places like this. I was in Prague yesterday and the day before, and that's a different game altogether. A lot bigger, of course, much bigger city, and incredibly busy. Here, not so much so, and it definitely benefits from that, I think. Probably the businesses would like it to be a bit busier, but for hapless tourists like me wandering about, not having to keep banging into people. It's absolutely fantastic. Although I suspect as we're getting into the actual old town now, it's going to be a little bit busier than thus far on this walk. Slightly kind of higher end cafes and restaurants now. We're in the old town, or well, when I say higher end, probably serving just exactly the same thing with higher prices. That's probably the reality of it, but certainly a nice place to sit, have a drink, coffee, have a snack, and do some people watching. Now that's something you don't see very often. A barber's pole actually spinning round. Do still sometimes see them in the city of London and maybe one or two other places, but on the whole, look at that. You know exactly what that is. Walk-in haircut, let me see. €29 for a haircut. Ouch. Beard trim 20, or if you have a combo, which presumably is a haircut and a beard trim, 39. Does look quite posh though. Real traditional looking kind of barbers. Oh, there's another one. Another barber's pole. So that's what they're called. Are they called that, barber's poles? I don't know. Those things that spin round. This one doesn't seem to be actually open. It's for the pronunciation. Didn't realise it was this I was coming to, but now I'm here I realise, yeah, this guy, it's the most photographed thing in the whole of Bratislava. And when I came yesterday, there must have been, it was like a tour group of I think Chinese tourists, all one by one having their photographs taken. As you can see, it's a lot quieter here at the moment, but still there's a little queue of people wanting to have their photograph taken by this guy here. And I'm not going to get anyone, but basically a guy coming out of a manhole. And yeah, as I say, there was a heck of a lot of people yesterday all trying to get their pictures taken with that. So I'm just going to stand aside as the police are coming down here. I'm sure they're used to people like me wandering around with cameras, getting in everyone's way. But so what's that guy called? Kumil? Something like that, isn't it? And even a little sign for him there. Man at work. So if you want your photograph taken with Kumil, this is the time of day to come. I've just heard the tour guide over there who's with her smallish group saying that she's been very lucky, or they've been very lucky, because there's not many people about. And yeah, so as I say, last night absolutely rammed solid. So I'm going to the old town square now, which is just along here, not too far away. And if it's the old town square that I think it is, that I walked through yesterday, it is absolutely stunning. It's so very typical of Central European squares, many of which got destroyed during the Second World War or badly damaged and have been reconstructed. Here is no exception, of course. Some places were a lot more embattled than others, of course. So they certainly do a fine job here in Europe of getting them back to their original state. In fact, if any of you have ever been to Warsaw, that's a classic example. Warsaw was completely levelled during the Second World War, and was built from the ground up. And I'm not 100% sure what happened to Bratislava in particular, but I'm sure it didn't fare particularly well. From the old town hall, I'm going to Primate's Palace. I'm presuming that's how you pronounce it. But what a beautiful city just to wander around, and I can't stress enough, with relatively low numbers, maybe September during the week is a particularly good time to consider coming here, because this is fabulous. I know it will get a little bit busier later on, but all the same, I tend to do most of my walking about first thing in the morning, and you tend to get the best of the day then. So many still eating their breakfasts. Scotch egg, special of the day, Scotch egg. Wow, I wonder what that's like. I absolutely adore a Scotch egg. I find your GPS gets a little confused in the middle of cities and towns with tall buildings around, and as a result of that, I did just walk off in completely the wrong direction. So I'm back to the square again, and I never noticed this little walkway just here, Kostolna Ulica. That's where I'm supposed to be going. And a few groups of tourists down here, which I'm guessing is where I'm heading to myself. There we go. What a beautiful building. Suddenly the wind gets up and a few leaves start blowing out of the trees as autumn heads into us. Now heading towards the Franciscan church, which is a couple of 100 metres away from here. Back from where I just came. To the Franciscan church, the Church of the Annunciation, I do believe it is called. Quite a lot of cobblestones here in Bratislava, so it's probably an idea to have some fairly sensible shoes on to walk around this beautiful old town. Heading up to Michael's Gate now. Another couple of minutes walk. Quite a few signs for WCs, incidentally, on a practical note. Don't know if you have to pay for them or not. Probably. Here we are at Michael's Gate. This is probably the most touristy street in the whole of Bratislava. I noticed this yesterday with the usual array of tourist hat shops, fridge magnets and caps such like, and different sort of cafes, bars and restaurants. There's certainly some nice smells wafting around though, I must admit. I'm going to be peckish come lunchtime, that's for sure. Now heading to the Church of the Elevation of the Holy Cross. Some some Slovakian specialities there. Beef goulash with potatoes and gnocchi. Absolutely delicious. Or if it's made properly, it will be delicious. Cannot speak for that particular establishment, but certainly looks okay on the photograph, but then again, don't they always? Check your times if you want to go and visit some of these attractions. Many appear not to open until about lunchtime or late afternoon. And this is one of those. So heading off to Kapitolska Street. Capital Street, maybe? Possibly. We are in the capital, so I don't know. Lovely old building, so really atmospheric place. One thing that some European cities are blighted by are things like all male and female groups on well, what British would call hen and stag parties, staggering about the place. Prague has been known for that. Amsterdam, one or two others, but definitely not here. Or it would be a lot more low key if you did. Still a great place to come. Also, having said that, and again, only a matter of a couple of minutes from the market, from the main tourist area, and perfect peace and quiet. Heading to Palfi Palace now, whatever that is. Palace, presumably. What a beautifully atmospheric city this is. On the list will be St Martin's Cathedral. There's somewhere around here burning incense. Feeling it may be this Samsa boho shop up here. Looks the kind of place that would have incense on the go. What a lovely smell is wafting down the street here. And some interesting clothes and bags for the ladies. You like little narrow cobbled streets with not too many people and not really knowing what's going to be around the next corner, then Bratislava is absolutely the place for you. And once you get past the St Michael's Cathedral, next port of call is the old city, ancient city walls. which are literally just here, right next to a dual carriageway. In fact, I think that's probably the dual carriageway I was attempting to avoid walking down earlier on. I seem to remember that museum just there. In fact, it definitely is. It's about 11 now, and I believe if you wish to go inside, St Martin's Cathedral opens at 11, and there's a selection of audio guides that you can hire, rent in lots of languages if you wish to have a look around, and a list of times of services, mass and so on. So I was going to take a wander up here to the city walls. Don't know which side I'm supposed to be going on, but I'm going to take the left. Open daily from 7 until 21. Bit noisy just here because, as I say, there's a busy road right next to us, but definitely worthy of a visit. Wind's getting up now. Hopefully it's not blowing on the microphone too much. And indeed, there's the UFO again. We're going to be crossing over the busy main road and going to see the what's it again? Oh, House of the, hang on, right, there we go, House of the Good Shepherd. So I presume there's some sort of crossover, flyover bridge or whatever just up here, and the house is over there on the other side somewhere. I think the finishing point for this walk probably will be the castle. I haven't actually checked actually. I don't know how many more stopping points there are on this, but I'm enjoying it so much it can carry on all day as far as I'm concerned, because this is one fantastic city. Struggling to understand why it's quite as quiet as it is. I know, as I said earlier on, it's September and it's midweek, but even so. Also so close to Austria, it's quite easy for those guys to head on over if they wish. Oh yeah, I see a bridge over there, which is where we're heading, to go and see the House of the Good Shepherd. Apparently on top of this bridge here, according to Google Maps anyway, is the kissing point. Not entirely sure why you would want to be doing that here, but I guess there's a nice view of Bratislava behind you, and the UFO if you go a bit further along. Wouldn't want to kiss either of those two either. Ibis Hotel up there, more at your budget end. Oh, what a beautiful, interesting looking building that is. House of the Good Shepherd. A little bit noisy here with the dual carriageway just behind me. Bit of an uphill yomp now to the Bratislava Castle. Getting towards the end of this walk now. There's 2 or 3 more places to visit where I'll conclude, and then I should be looking at the feasibility of adding a bonus bit on the end. But that will rather depend on how much time it's going to take to navigate the public transport to get there. But I'll tell you about that if and when I do it. But let's get up these steps first, up to the castle. What happened to the sunshine, eh? Google Maps is sending me through there, which is clearly closed at the moment. So I'll take this outer ring road, so to speak. Get some fine views of the Danube while we're at it. And that UFO again. And the tenement blocks of the suburbs of Bratislava over there. A lot of chimneys over there. Place is bathed in floodlights at night, and it looks very impressive up on the hill here. In fact, there's some floodlights there. Gate closure. I've been rerouted by Google. I'll be entering via this entrance here. Certainly some fine views over the Danube here. So, some seats set up here for some kind of show on the stage there. Don't know if that's a permanent fixture or just for the summer months. Places like this quite often have music and all sorts of shows going on. Nothing much looks like it's planned in the very near future anyway. I'm going to head off to the Crisscrossed Palace, I think it's pronounced. Probably got that completely wrong, as I have everything else today. But yeah, the castle is absolutely splendid. Looks absolutely beautiful. It's got plenty of facilities that you may need, cafe and public loos and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a bit of a hike up the hill, but you can get up here by public transport. Buses and of course the ubiquitous street train type things that come around, but walking it for me is always the best. And yeah, you could spend many hours in there. There's some galleries to look at as well, and one or two other things. So I'm going to head off now to this palace and see what that's all about. About a 15-minute walk from here apparently. A bit of time. I've just noticed there's a bus coming in 3 minutes, so I'm going to hop on that rather than it takes about just about 8 minutes by bus instead of 15 to 20 walking. So I shall hop on that and save a bit of time and my legs a little bit. Clocking up the steps today. And here's the presidential palace with a nice fountain outside and a blue digger. Google seems to be directing me around the other side of it. Nice fountain though, where there's looks like a park or gardens. I'm gonna head round there and have a look. I presume there's some sort of entrance along here behind these walls, and the Archbishop's Summer Palace is also in here somewhere. Pretty much coming towards the end of this fabulous walking tour around Bratislava with just a minuscule amount of cheating. I didn't see the point in walking that little bit between the castle and the palace, so just jumped on the bus. Why not, eh? I don't know quite how you get in here. Looks like there might be some entrances just here. Opposite is the Freedom Square and Fountain of Freedom, which looks quite splendid from here. It's quite modern and quite new, surrounded by some fairly modern and new office blocks as well. This is certainly nothing like the old town, but it's I'll tell you one thing that strikes me about Bratislava, and I'm sorry to say this, but most European cities, apart from a few maybe in Germany, is how tidy and clean they are, with a lack of litter everywhere. Come to Britain and it's absolutely disgraceful. I don't know if that's I don't know what the problem is with Britain, but littering in Britain is absolutely atrocious, and it's one thing that strikes me when I come to many places such as this. Even Prague, with so many more people, is so much busier, really wasn't badly littered at all. In fact, it was pretty good. But here it's spotless, absolutely spotless, and all credit to them for keeping it that way. Just wish whoever it is that just chucks litter on the floor or thinks it's okay just to leave that used coffee cup on a seat or somewhere because they can't be bothered to go and find a bin, I wish they'd just sort of, you know, stop doing it, basically. Nice fountain. I imagine that'll be very appealing to kids on a hot summer's day. Don't know if you're allowed. I can't see any signs to say you're not. Well, that concludes this part of the video, but I'm going to add in a little bit on the end. It's going to take me about 40 to 45 minutes to get there on public transport, and it's one of those sort of hidden gems in a city that not too many people know about, and it's the Bratislava chairlift, and I think it's somewhere in the order of about €4 to go up and down on it, so I'm going to go and have a little ride on it. I'll add some footage onto the end of this video. Now, if you're checking the notes, there'll be a link to this walk that I've just done today with one or two other places that I didn't include for one reason or another. So you might want to check that out, and if you come to Bratislava, use it as a basis for your enjoyment of this fine city. So I'm just going to head off to the bus now, or trolley bus, and I'll see you when we get to the chairlift, if I can find it. It's a bit of a hidden gem, apparently. Well, a change of bus required, and when I got here there was best part of 30 minutes to wait for said bus, which going up into the hills appears to be just up there somewhere, I'm guessing. Rather a limited service during the week, but no problem. Just took a little wander around and found an excellent little cafe under the underpass of this road here, believe it or not, just over there. And I was walking through the underpass and just this really nice food smell, so I went and had a look. A few people in there, and yeah, a bowl of vegetarian curry and a drink for about £5, maybe £6 actually, and it was delicious, absolutely delicious. Place looked a bit shabby to say the least, but the guy came out when I was eating mine and had a bowl of his own food, so I'm guessing it's probably okay. So I've got another 5 minutes or so to wait here for the trolley or bus, whichever it is that turns up to take me up to the chairlift. Let's hope it's actually open. Google says it is, but then again, Google says a lot of things sometimes. This is sort of an out of town interchange. A lot of the people here got off buses and are waiting around for another one. Well, that was a slightly long-winded journey to get up here, mainly because the off-peak services aren't running very frequently, but this is absolutely beautiful up here in the hills above Bratislava. Really glad I made the effort. So hopefully I'm just going to follow Google Maps now and it will take me to the chairlift, and hopefully there'll be a bus to take me back down into the city a little bit later on. So not too many people got off here, so I'm starting to wonder if it even exists. But yeah, that was interesting, with a bit of a gap in the journey, so I took advantage of that and managed to spot a lunch. So let's see if I can find this place. So if you get yourself a day ticket on the Bratislava public transport, or just buy yourself single journeys, this all the way out here is in zone 101, and the cheapest tickets, the ones for the centre of town, are zones 100 and 101. A little bit like zones 1 and 2 on the London Underground, basically. So they're included in all of that, so you don't need to get any tickets extra, even though this is quite a long way out as it happens. Of course, for zones 100 and 101, you buy a ticket for a certain period of time. You would have to allow quite a bit of period of time, but I'm guessing if you're going to make the effort of come all the way out here, you probably will get a day ticket anyway, so that won't matter. And it's valid for 24 hours from when you validate it, not just till the end of the day you're in. Well, according to can't see much in the way of chairlifts moving. Perhaps it's closed today. That'll be an epic fail on my part, as usual. Maybe they just switch it on when somebody turns up. Incredible. There you go, there's the chairlift, but can't see much happening. This is a surreal place, it really is. Maybe everyone in Bratislava has been on it and never going to go on it again. So the round trip is €7. I presume there are discounts and concessions, and it runs once an hour. But I'm just going to go up to the top and come back down again. Well, I think I am anyway. I'll see what it's like when I get up there. Well, this is totally surreal, in as much as I was expecting there to be, well, not that many people on What are we, Thursday midweek in September, but there's nobody, just me. Seems to run once an hour, on the hour, and so I'm either going to stay up here for an hour until I can come back down again, or come straight back down. Haven't decided yet, but this is a fun thing to do. I mean, when you look at the old health and safety here, is not much holding me in, and if you drop your phone or anything, it's gone. Not much of a drop, but it would still hurt if you fell out. I don't know how they go on with taking children on here. Maybe they strap them in some way. But this is fun. I like this. Interesting to see if anyone comes back down in the other direction. Such a shame if this isn't used. Of course, this little trip up here is almost twice the price of my day pass on the public transport. Well, I can actually see some other people. I don't know if this is the halfway point, and well, I imagine it is really, because they can't really get on it while it's moving, I don't think, so they must have got on at the same time as me. Quite high up across this little bit here. This is quite incredible. Hello. I suppose it'll stay in business for too long, or too much longer, unless this is a national treasure that no one wants to put to bed. But I would imagine at the weekends it's a fair few more that come on this. Wow. Probably not great if you don't like heights, or you don't like to be, or I mean, there's nothing much below when you look down. You're not encased in anything, as you can see from these seats. But it's fun. This is fun. Let's go up to the station now, where I'll get off, and I think I'm going to go for a little wander around up here for about an hour, and then take one back down again, and hopefully not have to wait too long for a bus when I get down there. Change of plan, I decided to go back down just to be on the safe side. That's a good 15 minutes ride up, and obviously it's going to be a 15 minutes ride back down, so I'll go for a little stroll about down at the lower end and await the bus, which is probably going to be about half an hour by the time I've got down there, so that's not too bad. It's absolutely beautiful day up here now. It's not really got particularly sunny like it was showing on the weather forecast, but it's certainly nice and warm, and yeah, you kind of have to jump off and jump back on again when it's turned round, so that's quite interesting. Well, you've got to be ready to get on it, put it like that. Let's walk up. Well, that was certainly a fun little ride, just coming back to the base station down there. So where is he? There he is. and that'll be my €7 worth over and done with. But that was fun. It's absolutely stunning up here. The weather's beautiful. I can't imagine it'd be particularly great on a icy cold day with wind blowing or rain or whatever, but certainly on a beautiful day like today in autumn, it's absolutely fantastic. Very tranquil, and yeah, of course you don't have to buy a return ticket. You can buy a one-way, which I think's €4. I think that's I quoted €4 earlier on, but that is the one-way price and 7 for a return. So choice is yours, I guess. You can walk around up the top, take this, or as I showed you earlier, there is a path that you can walk should you wish. Right, when I get down, probably got about half an hour to kill. I'm just going to go for a bit of a stroll. I'll add some more to this if there's anything of interest that I see. If not, I'll see you in town, where I'll conclude my walking tour of Bratislava with this little bonus bit added on. Well, so a round trip takes approximately 30 minutes, including a brief chat with the guys up the top, confirming I definitely did want to stay. Well, you can't stay on as such, you've got to get off and get back on again and head straight back down. What can I say? That's another little mode of transport to add to the list. I'm going to take a little stroll around here, maybe find somewhere, walk up to the... I got off the bus one stop before the end of the line, so what I'm probably going to do, if there's time, is walk to that stop to get on the bus, just to kill time really, and see what's what along the route. But I'll figure that out in a minute. I'll just get back to the actual bus stop and see if there's any bus timetables, just to make sure that what Google's telling me is correct. But what a beautiful place to come to, just on the outskirts of the city. And going back should be somewhat quicker once I get the bus from here. Right, that's it. Got a bus in about 10 minutes. Will take me back into the city centre, where I'm going to be grabbing some food and snacks for later on, and heading back to my accommodation to take a rest. I'm not sure if I'm going to head out again today. It's been a fantastic day walking around Bratislava. Now, what do I think of Bratislava? Well, I think it is an absolute gem of a city. It's located Central Europe, quite close to the big ticket items of Prague, Vienna and Budapest. And I think, or to quote somebody that I read recently, it is a somewhat overlooked by many tourists, and it is the better for that, I have to say. It is an absolutely splendid place. I appreciate I've probably come at a quiet time of year, on quiet days of the week, and have most definitely seen it at its best, with dry, warm, sunny weather, but not too hot or anything extreme. It's been an absolute revelation. I've thoroughly enjoyed Bratislava, and I'd thoroughly recommend anybody that fancies a really nice city break without too many tourists. Prices reflect that fact too. They're not too bad. They're quite kind of yeah, what you'd expect for Europe, but not the silly prices you get in some places, mentioning no names. So thank you for watching this video. That's it from me. Oh, by the way, don't forget, if you've got this far, thank you very much, well done. Your endurance is appreciated. Please tick the like button, subscribe if you want to see some more. Should have the Prague video already out by the time this is out. 1 or 2 more to come. I've got loads in the UK, around Europe and further afield, so if you want to be notified when they come out, then please press on the yellow bell also. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you again soon. Cheers for now. Bye bye.